So Silksong is officially set to release in 2025, at last. That's the information we got from the recent Nintendo Direct just a few days ago. But you probably already know that, and truth be told, there's not much more I can say about the release date itself. However, we did get 4 new clips and 5 new images of Silksong, and there is definitely a lot to talk about there. So let's not waste any more time and jump right into the first clip and the first image, since they both show us something we already seen before, the Moss Grotto. In this clip and the image, the main difference between the new footage and what we saw before is that the colors are more saturated and the background art has been updated. Instead of just giant clumps of moss, we now see bone-like spiky protrusions coming out of the ground. It fits the area well, especially considering Hornet is standing on what looks like a giant spine. But other than that though, not much has changed, just a bit of a visual update. The second clip, however, introduces something entirely new, a sliding mechanic where Hornet can slide down slopes. The location of the clip itself is unclear, but it looks like it could be somewhere in the lower parts of the area where you fight Lace. Both areas have a dark background and the white particles we see falling could be from the flowers we see near Lace. That said, I also have a theory that this is a part of the sets area. Even though the color palette is different, the falling white particles we see from the ceiling are similar to what we see in the set's boss arena. Plus, set's description reads, "An eternal protector waiting amidst the tangled roots at the base of the citadel." That would place him somewhere deep down in the kingdom, and this might be the path leading to him. There are also these cotton ball-like plants here that strongly resemble mycelium colonies, and if that's what they are, then the falling particles could be mushroom spores instead of white flower petals. But we'll save that theory for another video. The last thing we see here is in Hornet's inventory. We see 2 items. One is familiar but looks slightly recolored. But the second icon I don't remember seeing before. It could be a new item we didn't see that is grayed out because it has been used up, or possibly it could be just an empty slot for an item that can be equipped later. But there is no way to know for sure what it is right now. For the third and the fourth clip, I will cover them together, seeing as they are in the same room and the only difference is in the enemies Hornet is fighting. In the third clip, we see 2 new enemies that were not seen before. Both enemies are spider-like with multiple pairs of legs and are wearing the white and gold citadel garments we've seen before. The most interesting thing we see in this clip is once again in Hornet's inventory. It's a white glowing icon that clearly represents the storm attack we see her using in this clip. So, this might mean that Hornet can't use all of her abilities at any given time like the Knight, instead she needs to equip them. Or, perhaps this icon is just an upgrade to an already existing ability, implying that abilities can be modified and enhanced by other tools, rather than simply acquiring and absorbing the ability upgrade like the Knight did. Hornet uses this ability by consuming both silk and energy from her crest. But the ability icon remains glowing, suggesting it's still usable. However, in the next clip, where we see Hornet fighting a large enemy with a hammer, the same ability icon is grayed out, indicating it's been depleted or disabled for some reason. This whole system leaves me with more questions than answers. We already know there are 2 consumable bars, and now this adds even more complexity to how the abilities work. If you have any theories, let me know in the comments, I love to hear them out. As for the hammer-wielding enemy, since it appears in the same room, it could either be a mini-boss that spawns after the waves of smaller enemies, or an elite version of the enemies like the Great Husk Sentry in Hollow Knight. Its attacks are very similar to the False Knight's attacks. It has a quick slam attack from the air and a charging move that leaves a large white circle on the ground after he slams his hammer, which probably deals damage if you stay inside it. And that would be it for the clips we got, but we still have 4 images to go through. This next image is possibly the most interesting one. It shows Hornet ascending in the coral forest. This method of travel was already shown to us in the second trailer via wind current, but here we don't see much wind. Just a single white line that might indicate airflow, but I don't think it's the same thing. The real highlight, however, is once again in Hornet's inventory. Another white glowing icon with a symbol inside of it. It's likely tied to one of Hornet's abilities, possibly the one allowing her to fly or glide without the wind, but just like with everything else, we can't say for sure it's used for that. The other 2 items in Hornet's inventory are the ones we already seen in the previous trailers, so I won't go into those again. In the third image, we got Hornet battling a giant robot boss. We saw this enemy multiple times already, once in the first trailer, the second time when Silksong was announced to the PlayStation, and finally this one. From what we can see, not much has changed since the image we got during the PlayStation announcement. One thing that has changed is the heat distortion effect from the first trailer seems to be completely removed, which I think is a good choice. It was hard to see what was going on with that filter anyway. Other than this, the interesting thing we can see is in Hornet's inventory. Once again. Just like in the clip where she is sliding, we see a gray slot in her inventory, but this time with a nail icon. I personally think that this icon indicates an empty spell slot, so an item that upgrades Hornet's spells. And the image we see in the sliding clip indicates an empty tool slot, or vice versa, could go either way. But other than this, we don't see anything else that is new. The fourth image brings us back to the Citadel, where we see Hornet fighting two enemies. The area as for itself is something we didn't see before. The background suggests that we're at one of the entrances to the Citadel rather than inside it. And that's thanks to the layered hanging structures we see in the background, at least that's what I think. In Hornet's inventory, we see a new crest, shaped like a gear, which immediately points me at this area seeing as it's the only place full of gears. While we can't say for sure what this crest does, my guess is that it boosts mechanical tools or items like the saw that Hornet uses in this clip from the earlier trailers. And finally, the fifth image is a new Silksong banner art. Not much to analyze here, but still it's exciting to get new key visuals. So that's it for the new Silksong clips and images. If I missed anything or got something wrong, feel free to correct me in the comments below. But for now, thanks for watching and I'll see you all next time. Goodbye.